our top 10 quick comic picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you 10 of the biggest and best books that you can get this week at your local comic book store. They release on Wednesday, and we'll give you a little bit better idea of what to expect when you either head on over to infinityflux.net and you're looking for your books, or if you come to the store, you go into your own local comic book store. It's always helpful just to know a bit about what's inside these.
What's behind this cover?
What's between these pages? I don't know, ink and glue.
Yeah.
So let's get into it because there's some heavy hitters this week.
Yeah, we're going to start with Skinbreaker #1. This is the new 8-issue miniseries from Robert Kirkman and David Finch. It's an original IP, a whole brand new story. They have been working on this since 2017, and all 8 issues are already done, so this is going to come out like clockwork over the next 8 months. And it's about this group of people here. I'm not really sure what their name is, but this is kind of a fantasy book, and this tribe of people basically has a ritual where when one chief gets too old anymore to be the chief of that tribe, somebody else challenges that chief to combat, and then if they win, they become the new chief. And it's about these two characters here. We have Enoch and Enor. Enor is the chief now. He wants Enoch to challenge him so that he can become the new chief before another character named Thal challenges him instead, and Thal is not a very great guy, and that would spell bad things for the tribe. There's some more things into it as well. Skinbreaker actually is a term in the book, but yeah, a very beautiful new fantasy book from Robert Kirkman and David Finch.
Yeah, some great world building.
Yeah.
Well, first up for me is Ultimate Hawkeye. This is a one-shot with our new Ultimate Hawkeye that we got introduced to in the pages of the Ultimates. And this one is basically, you could have almost had this in the Ultimates book as a story in of itself, but this Hawkeye is going to infiltrate a kind of a weird, like
an underground human trafficking thing.
High roller
like
type thing, but only to learn that they are caught in a gauntlet of machinations of the people who run it and have to get out on the other side. There is some twists and turns. There is some interesting characters that pop up. But yeah, this is mostly just a one-shot story about this new Ultimate Hawkeye and just really spotlighting them and their abilities. So definitely check it out if you've been following all of the Ultimate stuff.
And next is another new #1 from Image. This is Viking Moon, and this is cool because it has its roots in actual history where Vikings are widely thought to be the first ones to set foot in North America. They didn't stay long. They eventually left. Well, this is about another group of Vikings that comes back to North America to make a new life for themselves. But maybe there's a reason why the first group didn't stick around so long, and it may have something to do with what's on the cover here. Basically, long story short, Vikings versus werewolves sells itself.
Well, next up, another big #1. This is Battleworld #1. This is a new mini-series, and this returns to the idea of the Battleworld as we see an older Hank Pym grow back to normal size. He's been shrunk down little, doing some experiments in his tiny little lab, only to discover, oh my gosh, this is a patchwork world, and there are other heroes and villains from different times and realities all here. Who is behind it? What is the bigger story at play? We learned quite a bit in this first issue, but there's some great action and some really fun characters, some familiar ones from different realities that show up. And yeah, this is a mini-series, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with it, because we do get a lot of answers just in the first issue.
Yep. And next we have the Twilight Zone #1. We have a lot of horror anthology books on the stands, and they're all really fun, but the Twilight Zone is the OG. So this is a one-and-done story called Blanks. This is about this billionaire named Edward Kane. He flies to this remote island. It's kind of like a fancy resort, but they are also doing experiments there to extend human life indefinitely. He has made millions in contributions to this resort, and he wants to see the fruits of his labor. He wants to see what he's been paying for, and he doesn't have much longer to live, so he wants them to use their new concoction on him, which they do. But when he wakes up after the procedure, he is horrified to find that everybody kind of looks like that on the cover, has blank faces, and then there's even more weirdness after that. But yeah, a very cool new horror anthology. I mean, it doesn't get any better or more classic than the Twilight Zone.
Well, next up, I've got Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 12, and I'm actually not going to say a whole lot about this issue because this is the final part of this. I think it was a 5-part story
Mm.
that has been going on with Wonder Woman in this maze and trying to free the people from there, looking for a fellow Amazonian that's there. But we learn a lot more about the other characters that are here, where their origins may be from, and a pretty surprising last 2 or 3 pages that you might see some familiar faces that we haven't seen in the Absolute universe so far. So this is a big one, furthering the Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman story. And after this, I'm very excited to see what is next.
Mhm. Well, next up, I want to talk about X-Men number 22 because this is the opening moment of the upcoming Age of Revelation event. If you read Age of Revelation number 0, you know that they say that the beginning moment of where the world ends up is when Doug Ramsey came to Cyclops about joining the X-Men, and that happens in here. Now, the first half of the book is kind of putting a bow on the previous story arc, but the second half is where Age of Revelation literally starts. It starts with that moment between Doug Ramsey and Cyclops. So if you're excited for that event starting next month, then this may be a good one to get.
And next up, gotta talk about it. It's Street Sharks number one of my favorite cartoon properties, one of my favorite toy lines ever. Street Sharks are amazing. This is awesome. The return of Street Sharks 2 comics. I think maybe they only had like 1 or 2 issues years and years ago, probably like 20 years ago. In this one, it's not an origin story. This is like you are sinking back into the series with a new storyline as we see some of our baddies up here attempting to steal some tech from this big company, and the Street Sharks are there to stop them. But by the end of this issue, you kind of see some big things are going to happen later on. So it's a great reintroduction of the characters, but the seeds of a bigger story. So if you're a fan of Street Sharks, don't miss out.
And last for me, I just want to talk about Daredevil number 25. This is the last issue of this series, but it's a really cool issue. Kingpin is back. We saw that in the previous issue, and we also saw that in Punisher Red Band number 1. And most of this issue is a really big, cool, action packed fight between Daredevil and Elektra taking on Kingpin. You could almost read this as a one and done story, but Kingpin has a new goal, a new life goal that goes way beyond just being the mayor of New York City, and hopefully we will see more of that in the next series. Whenever that's going to be, they haven't announced it yet, but for being a final issue of a series, this was really cool, great action and beautiful artwork. So I hope they at least bring the artwork back for the next run.
Lastly, for me, is Superman issue number 30. And this is a big one because this is leading right into the DCKO event that is coming up and leading right into the one shot that comes out next week.
Mm-hmm.
So this is dealing a lot with the Dark Legion. With Booster Gold, what the Dark Legion's plans are with Booster Gold, what are they using him as a kind of a cog in a bigger machine of? We find out more about Superboy Prime and what he's up to. This is just a phenomenal issue with fantastic Dan Mora art and makes me even more excited for the DCKO event when you see some kind of rumblings of what we'll be seeing in there in this issue. So don't miss out on issue number 30 of Superman. And that is it for our top 10 quick comic picks. Thank you so much for watching. Head on over to infinityflux.net. Place your orders. These books are live and up there right now while supplies last, so you don't miss out on any of these. Super important you go ahead and order them. That way they don't sell out, because some of these, especially their variants, all of that will sell out very, very fast. And you want to make sure you get them because these are some awesome stories.
Mm-hmm.
So until next time, see ya.